I can't believe it's been 2 years since we got together.
2 years already? Time flies when you spend the time with the love of my life.
Aw, you say the sweetest things.
Are we so special?
Well, we are different from the usual couples you see around here.
Different or not, we love each other, and that makes us not different from the others.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Even when we still need to introduce ourselves to our parents.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun day. I just hope my mother eats before she meets your family.
My mom uses magic, so she can luckily defend the family. Plus, a manticore family? Oh, cupcakes.
What's wrong?
I'm afraid that our family's not going good friends with each other.
I can understand your concern, since dragons and manticores have never gotten along. But I'm sure that once my mother meets you, I'm sure she won't care if you're part manticore.
You're right, sweetie. I guess I worried myself too much.
A little. You need to relax. And I think I know how. How would you like to review a My Little Pony episode?
That is a great idea, sweetie. And I think you already have an episode in mind.
Yes, I do. How about The Perfect Pear?
Squeak! Yes, yes, yes! Yes, please!
Alrighty tighty.
Yay!
Greetings, brownies and Pegasisters. Peewee Dragon here.
And Eagle over here.
And today we're going to be reviewing The Perfect Pear. The episode begins with Apple Bloom as she wanders through the marketplace, when suddenly the town's ponies gather around the stall of a new pony called Grand Pear, who sells, yeah, you guessed it, pears.
Pears, yummy! And one I can put on my list of fruits. Perfect! But Apple Bloom welcomed Grand Pear to Ponyville, as the pony with the grape says that he lived here before, which is strange for Apple Bloom, as she tastes the pear jam that Grand Pear gave it to her, and she likes it, as she asks how much and gets the bottle with pear jam for free. Maybe I get something for free?
Not unless you plan on using your adorableness.
Maybe. I can't help it. When I'm getting nervous, I'm getting cute. But at least you enjoy your extra meat. So, Apple Bloom comes home as she shows the bottle with pear jam. And Applejack and Big Mac are in shock as they try to hide it.
Why the need to hide it? I mean, it's not like the apple jam is going to be jealous.
Well, let's find that out, because the apples and the pears are having not a friendly bond together, and they don't know why they don't.
Such a beautiful voice.
So, Apple Bloom wanna ask Granny Smith about it, but they both say not to bring it up to her, that she will be in shock and will be emotional.
But seeing as none of the Apple siblings know why the apples and pears are fighting, they decide to go to another family member who might remember. Goldie Delicious, aka Crazy Cat Pony.
Indeed, Goldie Delicious is happy to see her family again, but when she heard that they want to know more about the apples and the pears, she sits down as she asks if Granny knows about it, as Apple Bloom explains that they might can fix it, which is heartwarming.
And as Goldie explains, the Apple siblings find out something shocking about their family. I mean really shocking. Incredibly shocking. So shocking that...
Get over there!
Sorry. Anyway, they find out that their mother was a pear.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. But I was hoping that this scenario came out, and before you all are gonna gasp again, let me tell you that in season 5 the episode of the Hofields and McColds are also two different families with also fighting each other. But there was one thing that the other TV shows or series used, and that is a forbidden love. And if you want an example, Lucky Luke had the same situation, only this was a old couple and also a forbidden love. But I'm afraid that Goldie don't have it more information. Only the book volume 138, and that one is protected by...
Her pet cheetah?
Yes, but how did she get the cheetah so calm and not harm her?
Who knows? In fact, I don't think I want to know.
Well, let's hope she's okay, because they're going to the firewood sales cult to ask about her dad.
Oh, sweetie. It's okay.
Sorry, sweetie, I just noticed that this something very emotional, and having a little something you have are a few memories is sad but beautiful.
That's very true, sweetie. So how about I take this part?
Okay, sweetie.
So we learn that Burnt Oak, the firewood seller, was their father's best friend. And during one of their races, Bright Mac knocked the Pear family's water silo. Gran Pear was blaming Pear Butter for it, but Bright Mac did the right thing and owned up to it. And of course, Pear Butter was so touched by this, she started making lovey-dovey eyes at him. But Gran Pear was not having it.
But at least they could met each other better, but sadly he knows only the father much better than Buttercup. So they have to go to Mrs. Cake, but not before we've seen the part where Big Mac asks if it's okay to come by and listen to his dad's stories. That touched me, and seeing this makes even more heart-touching. Okay, fanfic writers, make this happen!
Do as she says. Trust me.
Well, when the fanfic writers will work on that, we're moving on to Mrs. Cake. And we have something we were all questioning about.
And what's that?
Well, her name is Mrs. Cake, but her real name is Sylvan Swirl, which is probably said one time. You saw the name at some of the MLP merchandise.
Oh yeah, I never realized that.
Well, it's a long time ago. Speaking of which, she also earned her cutie mark thanks to Pear Butter, or I like to say Buttercup. That reminds me of something.
Oh? And what's that?
Well, sweetie, Eagle is not my first name. In fact, my real first name is Flower.
I remember you telling me this. Why did you change it?
Well, I not say it often, and I like to be called Eagle.
Understandable, sweetie. And if I'm being honest, Eagle suits you much better.
Thanks, sweetie. So, back by Mrs. Cake, where she tells about Pear Butter until one day when she wants to bring her a cake as a thank you gift, as she spots her with Bright Mac.
Okay, where is that coming from?
I have no idea, but my sense feels like we are at a soap, but more a proof-friendly soap.
A soap, you say? Oh, my darling, I've waited so long to hold you in my arms once again.
time with our ups and downs of our lives, we're finally together.
Yes, and there is no one I'd rather be with than you. But we'll have to wait until after the review before we can play.
Sweetie, I guess we have a big dinner for tonight. But you're right, sweetie. Let's continue.
As the episode continues, and the Apple siblings have learned about both their mom and their dad. But there's one more thing they must learn, and for that, they need to see Mayor.
Indeed. So Mrs. Cake goes with the Apple children to Mayor as she tells her part, as we hear that before Pear Butter has to move to Vancouver, Bright Mac, convinced as he is sure that he sees a future together with her, and asks her to marry her tonight. At that point, which is really romantic. And once they're at the point of getting married, Granny Smith and Grandpa spot them and are shocked to see what's going on. I want to point out that this workout is lovely. The scene, but also a little dramatic.
I agree, it is dramatic. And I think our audience would agree.
Well, I think we all know what happened, as they both tell their parents that they are in love. And this is the part where Mayor says that she declares them husband and wife. And both parents agrees that they can't marry, as Grandpa agrees. And well, I think this part will be touching, so sweetie, I leave this part to you.
Well, as Grandpa says it's time to go, Pear Butter refuses, and Grandpa decides to make her choose to be either a pear or an apple. And she chooses apple. And in that moment, Grandpa leaves, leaving his daughter behind with her new family.
This made for the Apple children more sense, as we getting a little lesson from Mrs. Cake, saying it is never being easy to not telling something like this. And I want to point out that using a few background characters for a part for story from the parents, that is really smart, because you don't want to introduce a lot of background characters for telling one big story. If you use just simple one or two people who are very close connected with each other, and especially by a story like this.
I couldn't agree with you more, my sweet. But now that the Apple siblings know everything, they decide to confront Grandpa, and they learn that he regrets leaving. And the reason he came back after all this time was so he can get to know his grandchildren.
Which is heart touching. And after a big family hug, they're going home to Granny Smith's, as she asks where they're going, as AJ tells, to knowing more about their parents, as they show Grandpa, as they both feeling sorry and agreed to putting their fight down, as Apple Bloom says that their mom and dad left something for them all as a reminder. And I think we all know what it is.
Yep, the seeds that they planted sprouted into an apple tree and pear tree, intertwining, forming the shape of a heart. Now that's something you don't see every day.
Indeed, and it shows that their parents, children, love either so much that it even shows this as a result. It's so beautiful.
Aw, sweetie. I know how you feel.
As they're all sitting and looking at the family tree and stone. And that was the episode of The Perfect Pair. Any thoughts, sweetie?
I personally thought this was a well-made episode, especially since it answered the question we've all been asking. And Pear Butter's song? Wow. Just wow. So all in all, This has to be my new favourite episode, and I recommend you watch it.
I agree with you, sweetie, but for me was the beginning a little weak. I mean, we've seen Apple Bloom walking and looking around the market. It's understanding that she's looking for something, but at least give her a little extra, like a list in her bag that's she listed off what she have and need to get. But the rest is pretty great covered, as I have to say two things. One, Goldilicious is done by the same voice actor of Big Mac. You can't fool me this time, Espero. And two, I want to thank the writers and everyone who made this episode happen, because this is an amazing episode.
I couldn't agree with you more, but let's see what our audience thinks. Did you enjoy this episode?
Well, it seems we have a top 1 episode for season 7.
It seemed so. And that concludes our thoughts on the perfect pair. Now there's something we need to do.
And that is...
What do we do with the audience?
Well, sweetie, take a look at yourself.
Oh, I see what you're getting at. You clever girl. But if we're gonna do this, we need to do this right.
We got this, sweetie. We're only gonna scare them a little. Attack!
I gotta say, there's nothing better than scaring a crowd with your girlfriend. I'm Peewee Dragon.
And I am Eagletale.
And these were our thoughts on the perfect pair.